Hey guys, it's your friendly neighborhood Calliope Whispers, and today I thought I would talk to you guys about how I started with ASMR and how, if you want to, you can too. So that already sounded like a weird infomercial pitch, but as we can tell by the odd breaker box and the poor lighting, that's not what this is. So today I'm just filming on my regular camcorder audio because I was going to show you guys some of my equipment as well. And although I'm speaking a little softer than normally, this isn't as much ASMR as it is just trying to tell you guys about how I do this and how, if you wanted to, you can as well. So first of all, I got started, technically it was November 31st when I filmed my first roleplay, and it was the very first video I'd ever put up on YouTube. That was my aura cleansing video, and I had actually been thinking about it for about a week. So I filmed it on my phone. This is a Galaxy S4, me and my boyfriend right on it. And I filmed it like this instead of like this, so it was already kind of, you know, not exactly the most well thought out thing. And I actually propped it up with some books and like a box. I mean, it was all extremely poorly done. So I had a brown sheet that was hanging from a dowel rod in my room, and I was sitting on the floor and I had it on one of my end tables that I pulled from my living room. I mean, basically it was probably the lowest budget you can get. So I did upload it on December 1st, which is going to be coming up pretty soon. So I've almost been a YouTuber for about a year now. And in that year I've met a lot of people, and I've learned a lot of things, and I've made so many friggin' mistakes, and it's been a ride. So I actually started because I had wanted to do ASMR for several years. I started listening probably in about 2011, 2012, and it started with Psyche Truth massage videos, and then my first video I ever watched was a gentle whispering video that was in the recommended feed. So from there I was like, what the hell is this, and why is it so good? Like, what is going on? So in my childhood I had actually experienced ASMR because I would read medical books. I had encyclopedias, and I would read everything about medicine, and I would get these weird shivers like on the back of my head and the back of my neck, and actually if I would scratch my arms or just like lightly touch them, I could make it feel more intense. So I thought that just meant that maybe I should be a doctor. No. No. I almost fainted during our cadaver field trip, which I thought it was really cool. It was just mostly the smell, so that was not for me. But I did end up finding out that that was ASMR. So I would watch ASMR videos for years, and then I came upon Karuna Satori, which actually it took me probably about a year to go from watching one of her video with Chinese medicine balls and kind of thinking, man, this is different, this is weird, I don't know if I like that. And I would watch it so many times, I'm like, you know, I should give her a chance anyway. Obviously she's piqued my attention enough. So I started watching more of her videos, and this was back when she was trying to get her life back together. So she would talk about a lot of what was going on with her life and her kids, and she had a lot going on. So I didn't realize this for a while because the video quality was so good, and the audio was actually pretty decent as well, that she was filming on an iPhone. So I realized that Android, at least the earlier Androids, aren't up to par with iPhones, but that's what I had to work with. So one night I said, you know, I want to say F it, but I'm just going to say screw it. So I went ahead and started making a video. So when I started making those videos, because they're on a phone, they need to be compressed. The audio files, or the video file, is extremely large. So I found a compression website where you could edit a video or compress it. That usually took about 6 hours after I edited it in Windows Movie Maker. So all in all, it took probably about 16 to 18 hours to edit, not like actually going in and editing, but like saving the movie and compressing it. It took 16 to 18 hours to make a video, not including filming time and actually going through and editing that video. So I had a lot of work cut out for me, but I did really enjoy it. So I figured that, you know, if someone can start from that kind of bottom, I can tell you guys a little bit of, you know, how to get up a little faster. So I'm actually filming on a flip video camcorder that my boyfriend bought for me as a present from a used website, so it's not in the greatest condition, but I do not have the finances to get a better camera or a camcorder or anything like that, so, you know, 35 bucks was worth it enough for me. And I have a blue Yeti microphone that I purchased in December after Christmas. So this baby has been everything to me. I love this to death, and the biggest reason that I wanted to get it was it's a USB microphone, and all I have is a not so great laptop from 2014 that wasn't great to begin with, but I've been able to make a lot higher quality videos because of that microphone. So now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and begin. So I actually wrote everything down because there's like a lot going into making a channel, which there isn't when you start, but there is. So obviously I said how I got started. Really anybody can do it, even if you're not great at whispering like me, or if you don't like soft speaking, or if you don't like showing your face. I mean, any of those things, you can still do it. So there are people who do videos with absolutely no talking at all. There are people who do it without showing their faces. There's people who do, you know, anything and everything under the sun. So that's the great part about this genre, is that you can be anyone you want to be. So as far as the equipment goes, again, I started with a phone, and you know, if you want to go that route, go ahead. I mean, phones have come a long way, and a lot of them are better than, you know, the cheaper cameras you can get. So if that's what you have to work with, go ahead. You know, it's not bad. So I have a flip camcorder, I have a blue Yeti microphone, I have a tripod, and then all my props I actually get secondhand from usually garage sales or Goodwill or People, and all my medical props I get from my boyfriend, who is a paramedic student, and he comes from a family of doctors, so they have a lot of drug rep memorabilia, I guess you could say, like old sphygmomanometers and stethoscopes, things like that. So I actually have been using his class stethoscope for the last 6 months, and he doesn't know where it's at. I don't know where it's at either. So, and my gloves I get from him as well. He usually brings home quite a few from the hospital, because they use them once then throw them away, so he brings me some that have not been used, but, you know, when he grabs some in the box, you always get a couple pairs with it, so he brings me a lot of stuff. And actually I had a bigger tripod, a 6-foot tripod, but one of the legs pulled completely out of the tripod and I don't know how to fix it. So I'm using a box with my Atari and Super Nintendo in it, a shoebox, and a train book to support this. Actually, okay, so my room is kind of gross, but there we go. So that's what I'm using for my setup there. And I'm just in my room. I don't have a big place. I don't have a specific filming area. I just film wherever it's most quiet. So a lot of times it happens to be my bedroom with this big, ugly breaker box right there. So, okay, noise. Noise, the bane of all ASMR artists. So, I live in a rural community. However, since it is out in the nothingness that is Iowa, I have a very windy field right next to my house, and it's constantly whipping around. I have 2 cats, one of which is a kitten that likes to run around like she's dying or something like that. She's completely ridiculous. I have a neighbor upstairs who is extremely inconsiderate, and her dogs are constantly running around and it sounds like marbles and bombs are going off. So, all things considered, usually I film... Why is my heat turning on? I turned my heat off because it's so loud. Usually the things that I do is, A, I film when my neighbor upstairs isn't home. My other 2 neighbors are great, so they're, you know, they don't bother me. 2, I close all my windows. 3, I put my cats in the spare bedroom. 4, I turn off my heat. It takes a lot to set up for an ASMR video because I don't want as much interfering sound. So, and the last would be when I'm using my microphone, I record in a program called Audacity, and that has a selection for you to be able to reduce the noise. So this would be like fan noise or just, you know, little bits of white noise. So usually when I film a video, I will have 5 seconds of silence so that I can go in and get a noise profile from that 5 seconds and then reduce the noise throughout the video. And I just learned how to do that like 2 videos ago. So it's been a lot. Okay, lighting. I actually get all my lighting either from, I don't know if you guys can quite see, I have Christmas lights hanging through my whole apartment. My apartment did not come with any lighting whatsoever, so we strung up Christmas lights. I have LEDs and incandescents, and it goes through the whole room, the whole apartment. They're not super bright, but at night they're actually pretty decent. I have a window right here, and if I need supplemental lighting, I have a bunch of lamps that I get from the Goodwill and some light bulbs, and I just plug them in without the lampshade, and that's how I do my lighting. It's horrible lighting, but you know, you do what you can with what you have. So most people don't give a shit. Most people don't care if you have, you know, bad lighting. I know Queen of Serene doesn't have the greatest video quality, and yet she's one of the biggest ASMR artists out there. So you don't need to be a big stickler about video. If anything, be a stickler about audio. Okay? So, alright, uploading. Generally, I like to upload at least once, usually about twice a week. I have not been able to do this consistently. You know, life hits you. I have a full-time job, or I did, then they cut my hours. I have a full-time job, and my boyfriend doesn't come home till about 9 to 10 o'clock, and I work very odd hours, so I don't usually have much time, at least with daylight or with time that nobody's home, so I don't get to film all that often, and really I don't always have the motivation to film as well. So you gotta kind of take into consideration how you're gonna feel. You know, this is a hobby for me, so, you know, I feel that whenever I feel like I want to film, then I'll film, you know. So if you take this as a job, then you're going to want to be consistent. So it's really up to you, but take into consideration how much work you actually want to put in all the time, okay? So, comments. Comments on YouTube videos. So, you're always going to get bad comments, like no matter what. So, the thing that I live by is don't feed the trolls and don't negotiate with terrorists. Which means that delete the comments that, you know, are negative or don't bring anything to the conversation, and if it keeps going on, block them, and that's all you gotta do. Now, a lot of times if I get a really, really weird or particularly malicious comment, I will screenshot it or I'll mention it and I'll put it on social media. Because there's nothing like shaming somebody who wants to be a huge dick to people who are putting their life out to the world to see. You know? So that's how I deal with it, because I take things to heart, and actually when I read those comments, I immediately, instead of going, oh my god, they're talking about me, I go, who the hell are they talking to? Whatever, man. You know, which is really hard because I can't do that in my personal life. So I just disassociate myself and say, who the hell are you? You know? So, just who the hell do you think I am? So, that would be my best way to go. I don't engage people because I suck at comebacks, and I suck at commenting anyway, and I just don't want to deal with it. So that would be my best advice, is to just not deal with it. Social media. So when I started, I was only on YouTube, and Articulate Design ASMR made me get a Twitter account, which I'm not on there quite a bit. Alright, sorry about that. I had a kitten emergency, and I decided to trim a couple hairs off my eyebrows. So, Articulate Design ASMR made me get a Twitter, and I'm not on there all that much. I didn't ever really like Twitter to begin with, but I do find it handy in following other ASMR artists because I'm really not that great at keeping friends, or making friends for that matter. I can't juggle more than 1 or 2 people. I get super overwhelmed, so, you know, if you're an ASMR artist and you're watching this and you know me on Twitter or something, I'm sorry. I suck with people, and it's not that I don't want to be friends with you, it's that I just physically can't bring myself to have more than like 2 friends. So, Twitter is good for updating your followers and for keeping in touch with other people. So if you want to go that route, that's great. I personally use Facebook a lot. I don't have a Facebook for my ASMR because, why don't I? Probably because it's a lot to juggle for me. So I wouldn't go full on social media if this is only a hobby, because the fastest way to burn yourself out is to overwhelm yourself. And I learned that very early on. I tried to, you know, be in the game, and the game played me pretty quickly. So I like being in the corner. I like being that niche channel that people find very occasionally, and, you know, they enjoy at least a little bit. So I'm not looking to be anybody's favorite channel. I'm not looking to be a big channel. I'm not looking for anything. I just want to have a nice hobby where I can make people feel better, and, you know, I can have a little more to do with my time, and I can still connect with people. That's my whole goal for this channel. It's not to, you know, be the next Maria Gentle Whispering. It's not to be the next GB ASMR. This is just for me to connect with other people and to bring you guys a little more enjoyment. That's about it. So, donating and Patreon. Personally, there's a lot of personal accounts here. Personally, I don't do donations or Patreon. This is partially because of my environment, and this is also because of personal opinion. So, I'll first off saying there is absolutely nothing wrong with donations or Patreon. Nothing at all. If you're going to give back to your subscribers and your patrons, and you're going to, reward them for helping you out, by all means, go for it. If you're just rolling in the money, you do you, babe. That's all I'm gonna say. But personally, I don't do it because I don't like charity. And this is where it gets kind of complicated because I'm not meaning that you guys are giving me charity. I grew up in kind of a poor family. I mean, we generally had food on the table, not necessarily enough. And we got to do things, I just never got to experience any special things like vacations or trips. I grew up in a family of 7. So we did what we could to make ends meet. And I can't donate to people because I can't make ends meet either. If I had a disposable income, I would donate it all. I try to live within my means, but unfortunately, you just can't these days. So I struggle a lot, and I don't want to make people feel like they have to donate for me to continue this, because that's not true. I do this for my own personal enjoyment and for the enjoyment of other people. So if, that means that you get lower quality ASMR as far as equipment goes, then that's how it's going to be, I don't want people to try to give money to me, partially because I don't know how to pay taxes on it, and also because I feel guilty. I don't feel like I deserve it, and there are ASMR artists that are much more deserving of your money because they're trying to constantly improve themselves. I'm just here for the ride, man, So I don't do donations and I don't do Patreon. Now, I've thought about the get a tat or give a tat or whatever because you wouldn't have to donate money. You're just donating your time. However, again, I don't know how to pay taxes on these things, and I'm not going to avoid it because, let's just face it, I'm not great at doing just about anything. I'm also not great at being bad and a tax evader, So I have to do everything right. I actually usually pay more on taxes because I don't put in my withholdings because I feel bad. I mean, it sounds really weird, but I know that a lot of people do evade stuff on their taxes, so I actually pay more so that those people can. I don't know, but in any case, a lot of times if I don't really have that much of a tax refund, I just won't even do it, Fuck it, let the government have it. If it goes to some, social program, then perfect. So now that we're getting off topic, so I don't do donations because I don't want to, Would I need them? If I wanted to get better equipment, which I do, I'm just going to have to save up for it, then yeah, I would. But I feel that since this is my hobby and this is my choice, I should be accountable for it. And that's just kind of how it is. So, and the last thing would be getting your passion and inspiration. So many times I've found that I did not have any inspiration for a video. And the thing is that I kind of learned early on as well. You have to do what you want and what you want to see. So usually when you're, if you're in a business or you're making goods, you don't design for yourself. You don't make it all for yourself. But in ASMR, if you don't do the stuff that you like and you just do what everyone else wants, you're not going to want to do it, There's nothing in it for you anymore. So, sure, you can take on things that you've never done before or that you didn't necessarily think about doing, but you could, I mean, it's like for every 3 videos you want to make someone, you know, make someone's request, or do something that you've never done before. But do a lot of it for yourself, and you'll find a lot more inspiration if you know what you like. So I'm really good at, like, tapping on stuff. I usually have really long nails, and that's what I like. I don't usually do whispering because I'm just not super into that, and it hurts my voice, you know? So I used to do some plant stuff because I love plants and I have a lot of them. I don't do many medical role plays, which I could because I've been in the ringer with medicine more times than I can count, but I just don't have the equipment. So, you know, do stuff for you is what I'm getting at. And also, keep a list or keep a journal or keep a book. I have a Microsoft Word document titled ASMR Ideas. And every time you have an idea, put it in there. Date it. You know, if you have a request, put it in there. Date it. Username, you know. And then you can pull from those as you need. If you need inspiration, there you go, you know. A lot of times I find that if I'm really dry on inspiration, I watch a lot of ASMR videos, and I try to pick out things that they do that I would like to emulate. Not, you know, create exactly what they're creating, but, you know, if they talk a certain way, or if they move a certain way, or if they do something that's just kind of different, I'm like, oh, what can I do that's similar to that I can incorporate into something else? So that would be, you know, for my passion and inspiration. But most of all, if you're losing passion and you're losing inspiration and you're not interested, don't push yourself, you know. We can kind of sense, because this is supposed to be a relaxing genre, we can sense when things are being pushed and when it's being forced. And that's not really going to do anything for anybody. You know, you're going to be kind of frustrated, and people are going to be like, this isn't as great as what you used to do, you know. So, if you're not into it, you're not into it, you know. You can always come back. So, I wouldn't force yourself to do it, because that's not great for anybody. So, that's the video for today. And hopefully, I'll be able to make some new videos for you soon. It's actually my boyfriend's birthday today, November 3rd. And my mom's was yesterday, my dad's is tomorrow, and my mom's best friend is the next day. You know, November, Valentine's Day, everybody gets together. It's weird. So, I'm pretty busy. So, I will see you guys when I see you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed this, you got something out of it. I imagine I'm going to get, you know, few upset comments over some things that I've said, but, you know, personal opinions, man. As long as they're not hurting anybody, you can have them. So, check you guys later. Bye now.